welcome on Zoom. And today, our special webinar is about celebrating Mother's Day. So, today, we all are here to honor the profound significance of motherhood and explore that what it means to embrace this invaluable role in our life. So, it's a journey filled with love, sacrifice, lot of emotions, and boundless strength. And throughout this webinar, we have the privilege of hearing from inspiring guests who will share their insights and experiences on the joys and challenges of motherhood. So, I have with me the gorgeous actress Neha Dhupia, who is an actor, host, founder of Freedom to Feed, and founder of Big Girl Productions, and a mother of two. Welcome, Neha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm really looking forward to this panel.
And now I'm going to introduce Dr. Duru Shah, who's the founder of PCOS Society, a leading gynecologist and a fertility specialist, practicing since 4 decades, more than 4 decades, in fact, and director of Gynac World. Welcome, Dr. Shah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
I also have with me Dr. Megha Pushkarna, who is a counseling psychologist, family and couple therapist, who has been practicing since 15 years in Delhi. So, welcome, Dr. Megha.
Thank you so much. And it's so nice to have esteemed people here. And I'm so looking forward to learning and sharing my insights as well. Thank you so much.
So, let's begin. मदर्स डे की बात है सो हम एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट जर्नी को नहीं भूल सकते विच इज चाइल्ड बर्थ. किसी से भी पूछो तो हर कोई यही बोलता है. आई एम अनमैरिड बट मेरी सारी मैरिड फ्रेंड्स यही बोलते हैं कि मदरहुड चेंज्ड मी. लेकिन ये जितनी प्यारी प्यारी चीजें होती हैं उसके पीछे एक जर्नी भी छुपी होती है. एंड कंसिडरिंग हम चारों ही वर्किंग वुमेन है, सो अगर हम वर्किंग हैं and we are in our 30s, so navigating pregnancy comes with a lot of stigmas, especially if you're over 35. We are emotionally mature, financially stable, but बहुत सारे stigmas भी attach हैं कि कैसे होगा, दिक्कत तो नहीं होगी. So नेहा, आपसे जानना चाहेंगे कि what's your take on that, और आपने how did you navigate it?
First of all, thank you very much for having me on this panel. And your question was, how did I navigate the stigma that comes with with having babies later in life, right? You know, I feel that कई बार, like for me, the reaction that I got from my parents was that because I kind of got married at 37, like there came a point where like every Indian parent, my parents, when I was in my late 20s, they were like, ab shaadi kab karni hai? You know, are you interested in someone? Do you want to settle down and all? I think वो बात इतनी आगे निकल गई, यहाँ करते हैं. So finally at 37, when I told them I'm pregnant, they were very relieved. क्यों? चलो, ठीक है. You know, I had that kind of a reaction. Of course, you know, and I feel that the stigma that's there is not so much with the ones who actually love you, but it's from the ones or the ones who are close to you, because that's your real support system between the people and the guardians and the primary caretakers जो आप hire करते हैं to look after your children, चाहे वो आपके cooks हो, nannies हो या कोई nurse हो, वो सब, that core group is amazing. Your family is amazing. Your, you know, in-laws, your parents, everybody comes together. Like I've had times where, you know, I'm just having me and my mother don't live in the same city, and I'm just like, I can't make a sense of, like 4 days in a row, I can't make a sense of where my balance lies between being there for my children, being there for myself. And जो मैं कह रही हूँ, being there for myself, I always say I go to work for myself. मैं कभी ये नहीं बोलती हूँ कि मैं अपने बच्चों को, देखो मम्मी काम करने जा रही है तो वो आपके लिए प्रेजेंट लाएगी, और you know, आपके लिए. I'm doing it for myself, because if I practice and exercise self-love in front of my children, they will go on to doing things for themselves, you know. So I'm saying that to find that balance between the multiple jobs that one does, the job of being, you know, a professional, your duty as a mother, being there for your husband as a wife, as somebody who's, you know, running and looking after a home along with, you know, your partner. तो इन सब चीजों को मैनेज करने के बीच में finding the balance, firstly, I think is a myth. Two, I want to normalize this and break it down and tell everybody that कोई ऐसा balance है ही नहीं. We all have bad days, and then we have very bad days, and that one odd day which is great and everything goes on time and everyone reaches the meetings on time and your kids are not having a tantrum and उन्होंने जो घर में बना है और पालक भी खा ली और गोभी भी खा ली without throwing a tantrum is a great day. So, or then right now the phase I'm in, and after becoming a mom, sometimes work slows down, or getting a call for work is a great thing, because as soon as I had my babies, people were only talking to me about weight gain, weight loss, bachche kaise hain, and they would look at my husband and say, and what's happening? What are you shooting for? So, that kind of judgment, that kind of stigma. Or like, for instance, I remember hum ek event ke liye gaye the a few months after our daughter was born, and someone said, तो आप भी यहाँ आई हैं, तो बच्चे का कौन ध्यान रख रहा है? In my head, I was like, but my husband's here as well. Nobody asked him that question. Not that it makes any difference to him. We are big flag bearers of, equal parenting, or even just a conversation that if I'm here doing my interview, I know exactly that, when my children are there with my husband, he's bringing them here. We'll have an evening plan with him. But I feel that there is a huge kind of, there's too much societal pressure that is on every woman. And that's not a factor of giving birth late or giving birth early. There's unsolicited advice. In sab cheezon ki, if you can hold back and if you can avoid it, it's great. And for the ones who can't, I just thank God, hame Bhagwan ne do kaan diye, idhar se suno, idhar se nikalo. And I mean, that's my attitude. I'm still going to continue doing what I'm doing because I'm not hurting or harming anyone. Yeah, I don't read too many books on parenting. I'm not on Google and checking things about parenting. I go by gut and instinct. And of course, genes, and, we see a lot of ourselves as parents, because I see a lot of my parents in myself when I'm raising my children. Right. And that comes with a value system where you care just enough, but at the same time, you give them independence, and health and happiness is important. So I'm a very low pressure parent, to tell you the truth. Also, who doesn't listen to people, and I don't get pressurized by people.
But you pointed out certain stigmas which are attached, जैसे कि आपने बोला. So coming to Dr. Duru Shah, आप मुझे बताइए, आपके पास बहुत सारी लड़कियां आती होंगी in their 30s. So tell us something about the concept of egg freezing. अभी कितना, अब सुन रहे हैं तो बहुत पॉपुलर भी हो रहा है, लेकिन अभी भी कितना परसेंटेज है जो इस चीज को ओपनली समझ रहा है कि ये क्यों बेनिफिशियल है, इसे क्यों करवाना चाहिए?
I think in today's days where women are having careers and they are wanting to grow in life and grow in their careers, everyone holds back into having babies, either because they are still single or they're married, but they want to postpone pregnancy. So the question is that if you want to have your own biological child, you need to be aware that as you get older, the egg quality, which is present in your ovaries, the ones which are left behind are not the best. The best ones, they start moving out when you ovulate every month. And what is left towards the, as you phase out towards the ages of 40, the ones which are left behind are not the best. And therefore, the fertility potential as you get older gets worse. So in short, what we recommend to women is that, yes, you must go ahead with your careers. I was a career woman myself, I am. But what we recommend to women is that if you're planning to postpone your pregnancy before the age of, after the age of 32, 33, it's a good idea to freeze your eggs, because you do not, especially to women who have not yet found a partner, who have not yet found someone whom they're dating, whom they're not sure whom they're going to get married to. And then we say, because in India, what happens is we reach menopause a little earlier than the European or American women. We reach menopause by the age of 48 or so. And 10 years before menopause, the eggs go for a toss, in short. So therefore, I'm not saying women can't get pregnant after 36, 37. They do. Neha is one good example. Yes, they do get pregnant, but there is always, if you look at the graph of what really happens, you find that the fertility potential starts going down. So egg freezing is a great way of saving your own biological genetic material before you, for as long as you want. And you can postpone it so that you can have your own biological child. There are many women who get pregnant at a later age in life. Then they go through some difficulties, and then finally a day comes when women realize that 42, 43, that they're just not getting pregnant. Then they opt for egg donation, which becomes it's not their own eggs. Yes, they carry the baby, but it's not their own eggs. So everything has its own plus and minuses. So yes, if you need more details on egg freezing, I'll give you some more. But I think you can start with another question.
Yeah, so I've got an idea about it. And coming to Dr. Megha, जब हम egg freezing की बात कर ही रहे हैं, so अलग अलग हमने point of view सुने, जहाँ नेहा ने भी बोला कि इवेंट पे जाते थे तो ऐसा होता था, and which is absolutely right. And बहुत सारे लोग यही बोलते हैं कि अब शादी करोगे तो बच्चे कब होंगे, because the biological clock. So मैं आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ, what are the emotional and physical aspects of undergoing egg freezing? आपने कभी counsel किया हो किसी को, तो उसके बारे में अगर आप कुछ बताएं.
So what happens is, Neha, and I would relate with both the speakers here, there is a lot of taboo and there's a lot of pressure. You know, these two concepts do not help women enjoy the most natural form of taking life ahead. Now, I would not say we have to celebrate each other all the time, but the fact is, egg freezing, of course, it's a woman's responsibility. You know, at times there's a lot of judgment, you know, in case she's working and she's unable to take leave or she's not keeping up with her appointments. You know, there is a lot of judgment also. And I have also noticed parents also do tend to take their adult daughters very strangely with respect to even the fact we stay in, you know, cosmopolitan cities and we all are educated. I still see, you know, it still becomes an independent decision. There's a lot of discussion around it, you know, then comes in the whole aspect of being, you know, physically intimate and using contraceptives. You know, it just lands up getting very multi-layered. And when we're talking about all of that, I realize in this sphere, we're not only talking to the patient who's actually individually, independently coming to do something for her body, it's a very family thing. So in India specifically, I would say it's a very family thing. And in case someone doesn't, I have mostly seen mothers being, you know, confident and being supportive to their daughters that it's okay to do egg freezing. It is catching up. I feel in the last 10 years, there's a lot of discussion around it. Thanks to media, people want to talk about it. And yes, I think I have a feeling, you know, with the more and more we talk about it, we normalize it, that anxiety, you know, that stress, that judgment somehow will slow down. That's my thing.
That's really nice to hear. And coming to Neha, मैं आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ, आपके मैं सोशल मीडिया पर आप फोटोज भी बहुत पोस्ट करती हैं with your kids. It's lovely to see that. I want to know कि your experience of pregnancy and experiencing it actually, did it align with your expectations? क्या वो वैसा ही था जैसा आपने सोचा था, या there were surprises that you encountered?
No, actually, there weren't too many surprises. Of course, when you're going in for that surgery to finally that pregnancy, and it's very nice, and the first time around, you know, the best thing about your first time pregnancy is that it's so nice because everyone's really looking after you. The second time, it's even better because no one's giving you advice, because you're like, kya advice de rahe ho? Mera abhi to bacha hua hai, abhi 1.5 saal pehle, you know, so it's like that. But it also kind of, the second time around, I was pregnant during COVID. And of course, there was a lot of caution. There was a lot of staying indoors, plus also looking after our little one. So, you know, when you have one baby out and one baby in, it's also that much more exhausting, but rewarding. And, you know what's going to happen. The time when I kind of had... when I was pregnant for the first time, of course, you know, the strange license to eat was something that was there. You eat for two, it's a myth. I want to advise everybody, mat karo, because I know I get up at 5:30 in the morning and go for a run even now, and it's barely come off all my pregnancy weight. But the big kind of the hardest part for me, of course, was the feeding. And not that the breastfeeding was tough, but it was just kind of, you know, because you're the only food source for your child, every 3.5 hours you have to either be there or express milk, and then, you know, get back to work, not get back. And plus I was also working. I started working very, very soon, both times soon after giving birth. So it was kind of mixed. I'd never actually, by the grace of God, never had a surgery in my life. And this is a really big surgery, having a C-sec, if you actually think of it. So all those things, there were a couple of questions, but was it tough or was it turbulent or all of that? But I mean, thankfully, none of that was there. It was very smooth. I actually did a film called A Thursday when I was 8 months pregnant with our son. and we were shooting in COVID, so I has to wear this face shield. But it was so nice. It was so rewarding to work till the last day. Like I was dubbing for the film literally one day before, till the 1st of October, and 3rd is when I gave birth. So it was, I also think I want to go back to actually what Dr. Duru was talking about. The judgment that comes, or what Dr. Megha was saying, that egg freezing, and or the judgment that comes with the way you have your child. There are multiple options now that are available, medically. I feel like that needs to cut back, because you don't know what the woman has actually gone through to take those options. You don't know even before getting pregnant. I mean, I consider myself the fortunate ones who have not actually put our bodies through that much. But my heart goes out to the ones who actually put their minds, their bodies, and even things like, oh, she's not getting pregnant. Is there something right with her? Is there something wrong with her? Cut it out. Don't. It's, to each to their own. Everybody wants to have a child. It is their prerogative how they want to have it. Doesn't matter. And honestly, it doesn't matter the process you take to have that child. Your life is going to be as fulfilling. Your child is going to be as beautiful, is going to be as rewarding, or as much of an adventure as somebody who's given, who's frozen their eggs, or had a natural delivery, or had a cesarean, or had a surrogate, whatever it is, And I feel like the judgment needs to stop from the beginning. And I don't know as much, but Dr. Megha and Dr. Duru would talk about it. Because by the time these amazing mums have come to them, they are also going through some sort of, mentally they're probably stressed, or they feel that, they're being pulled and tugged from all corners. And at the same time, physically, they have to put their bodies through so much more than anyone else. So yeah, I think the kindness needs to start by the judgment stopping immediately.
Very well said. And taking the judgment part to Dr. Megha. So everybody who's in their 30s, कहीं ना कहीं वो हम जैसे नेहा ने बोला सब बोलते रहते हैं, सुनते रहते हैं, and तरीका चाहे कोई भी हो. So how to deal with that? Because women are definitely worried also कि age भी जा रही है, then obviously अभी आगे कैसे होगा, and postpartum depression is also, again, I'm counting that a part of it. So how to go about that then?
So, it is very normal to feel anxious. Our hormones also give us the power of being superheroes. Our hormones also at times let us down, which is okay. Of course, people will talk. How much do you want to buy it? See, some people, of course, you tend to, push them aside. Anxiety, I would not say I'm going to normalize it. But in today's world, we want it all also, Neha. We want it, we want good careers, you want to look good, you want to dress up, and it's for everybody, barring any age. Of course, when we are young, we're ambitious, and that's good. By the time, you come in our middle age, you realize that, you can let some things off your plate because maybe they weren't really worth it. And you start letting go of what people think about you. कई बार हमें wisdom, age wisdom भी देती है letting go करने की और उसको बहुत दिल से नहीं attach करने की. At times, you need a professional intervention for you to sit down. Maybe you're carrying everybody's load for too long. You just need to talk. I would take what Neha rightly said. At times, of course, it does happen that, when someone would come, for example, to a psychologist, before they even introduce themselves, to start crying. And why is that? Because they're fed up. So maybe they see a psychologist and they feel, okay, I'm hoping she will not judge me, or she will not say, tumhare mein kya problem hai? And I find it the most rewarding part, where I haven't even got my clients or my patient's name right, and they just sit and they just cry, and then they start talking. So back onto your question, at times people just need probably a stranger to talk, get it out of their system. At times I feel when they're hearing themselves, they probably get the answers to their concerns. When I'm, for example, when they say, okay, what brings you here? And they say, for example, a lot of things, ki bahut anxiety hai, India mein kharcha bahut hai, with everything put together. Everybody may not be able to afford it. Everybody may not be able to have that pain threshold. It is considered very brave to have a normal delivery. And if you have a cesarean, people tend to ask, kya hua cesarean, kyun hua? Of course, Dr. Duru Shah is the expert here, not me. But, it is, my take here is, and going by what Neha said, you're breastfeeding, oh, that's amazing, keep going on, not realizing how exhausting it is. If you're not breastfeeding, tum theek se khana nahi kha rahe ho. And it makes the mother who's already going through a difficult time for the first time in her life, does not know what to do. So postpartum, I feel we've always seen it. I think maybe 20 years back or 15 years back when we started our practice, हम postpartum सुनते थे, लेकिन उसके बारे में इतनी discussion नहीं होती थी. आज की date में, it is so nice we are talking about it. So it's not that we're preparing girls who are pregnant to say कि आपको ये होगा. We're telling them this is a part of it. Your body's going to go through a change. Everything will change, but you will come back. There is a very big transition that's happening. So, on to your question, Neha, about the anxiety, I feel you need to talk to someone who may listen to you. A, B, people will talk. You can't change, even if the fact you want to. Three, you got to keep on working. You have to work personally, professionally. I feel the minute we leave that time and wonder, log kya kahenge, we just start letting that absorb us like acid. So you have to keep working. I am pro women working wherever, whatever they're doing. So I think that's my take. And just see someone in case kabhi wo anxiety or tanav or wo distress itna tang karta hai, that you become accidental prone either at work or outside. Just go speak to someone, get it out of your system, feel good about it, and maybe you learn it's not so bad after all.
I agree, very well answered. एंड इमोशनल एस्पेक्ट तो मैंने आप दोनों से जाना, मैं थोड़ा सा इसका मेडिकल एस्पेक्ट भी जानना चाहती हूँ डॉक्टर दुरु शाह से. ये मैंने ऐसा सुना है, अगेन आई कुड बी रॉन्ग, 30s में ऑब्वियसली थायराइड आ जाता है बहुत सारी लड़कियों को, या फिर आजकल फाइब्रॉइड्स या पीसीओडी या पॉलिप्स की प्रॉब्लम भी बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ती जा रही है. सो दीज आर सर्टेन एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स जो कहीं ना कहीं फर्टिलिटी को भी अफेक्ट करते हैं. So considering if somebody is conceiving after 35 या वो egg freezing भी opt करते हैं, तो are these external factors detrimental to that procedure or conceiving at a later age?
No, it's not detrimental at all to the procedure. Unless, say, for example, I have a lady just now with me, very recently, who had multiple fibroids in her uterus. Multiple. We could hardly see where her ovaries were. So we couldn't do the egg freezing or the IVF procedure because the uterus had become so big, the ovaries were way up and we could not access them. So in that case, what we do is we first remove the fibroids. We then do the egg freezing because we don't want to wait. We have to wait for 4 months before we can allow her to get pregnant after doing a myomectomy, removing the fibroids. Because otherwise, if the uterus stretches with the pregnancy, she could have a rupture of the scar. So we freeze the embryos and keep her eggs, her husband's sperms, joining the eggs together, making the embryos, freeze them, wait for the uterus to heal, wait for 4 to 6 months. So you've got those eggs which have been recovered probably at an earlier age rather than putting them back later. I mean, getting them out at an older age. So in short, there are various things we do to make sure that we have got the eggs in good condition. We do the pregnancy, like say if I have to advise a woman who's come without any problems and she's come to me for her pregnancy. So if I would investigate her, which I do every woman before she plans her pregnancy, and we expect all women to preconceptionally check if they have got any disorder which could affect their baby or affect their own health if they are pregnant. We do all that. We start them on folic acid, etc., etc. If there's a thyroid problem, correct it. If there's a polyp, remove it. If there is a fibroid, if it's coming in the way of pregnancy, we have to get rid of it. Otherwise, the pregnancy may not hold, especially if the fibroid is within the cavity of the uterus where the baby stays. If the fibroid is sitting on the top of the uterus, no problem. We don't worry about it. But a fibroid sitting in the wrong place, causing trouble for the baby to grow, we have to remove it. So therefore, we have to investigate a woman completely before allowing her to get pregnant. Allowing means say we are not anyone to allow a woman, but guiding her and telling her, yes, this is the right time. Now you can go ahead and plan your pregnancy. And that is why I always tell my patients, you go on a trip, you go on a holiday, you buy your tickets, you plan which flight you're going to take, you plan what you're going to wear, you plan where you're going to go, you plan what activities you make such a big plan. Now here you're going on a 9-month journey with your baby, which is going to affect the life of that baby later, because all your disorders you have within you, especially PCOS women who may have insulin resistance, who may have high male hormones, you get pregnant, you are making your baby get sort of exposed in the uterus for 9 months to all those hormones which may not be right rightly balanced. Therefore, correct your hormones first, get them balanced, and then have your baby. So yes, it's a lot interconnected. And therefore, the message I would like to give out today is preconceptional counseling is extremely important. Don't just get pregnant and land up with your doctor. Get yourself first to the doctor, make sure you're okay, and then plan your pregnancy. So that's one important message. The other thing about freezing, I'll tell you is a personal example. My daughter was 32, 33 when she still wasn't married. And I didn't know when she'll get married. And she was dating, but nothing was happening. So I said, why don't you freeze your eggs? So she froze her eggs. And then she got married at the age of 38. At 38, she got married. She tried. She was having difficulty getting pregnant. So she got her embryos put in because she had the embryos made with her current husband. She got the embryos put in. She got pregnant. She had a baby during the COVID time when she was 40. She had frozen embryos, right? After 3 years, she's just delivered now that she's 44. She's had twins. She had 2 embryos put in and both survived and both. So now she has 3 children and she's got newborns just 15 days old at the age of 44. So I see nothing wrong being pregnant at 44. She's taken it beautifully. It's just amazing that this is what helped her. And she always thanks me. She says, Mom, I'm so thankful that you guided me right at the right time, because otherwise I've seen all my friends struggling at 38, 39, trying to get pregnant. She's a career woman completely. She's handling a big company. She's MD of a company. So I would expose, but yes, we are all career women in our home. So in short, this is something which I feel strongly that we need to guide the patients when they come to us. It's not that we want to do unnecessary things. I always tell them, you're 32, you're married, you're dating somebody, get married and have a baby quickly before 35 so that you don't struggle later. Later, there's a lot. I'm not saying, again, it's not for everyone. I'm just talking about the average. So as you get older, it gets difficult. And therefore, why not have your baby? Have it. I'm sure you'll be able to have so many people to look after your baby. But that's where we are. And I think science has given us a lot. We've been able to do a lot for our patients. And we are thankful because we see so many women struggling and mentally disturbed. I agree with Dr. Megha that, they have a lot of stress on their heads. And somehow it's always taken for granted is the woman at fault, unfortunately. And therefore, when the first visit, when they come to me, when they're not getting pregnant, I ask the husband and the wife both to get investigated at the same time. So often we find that the woman gets investigated, she's not getting pregnant, and after 5 years, somebody examines her husband's sperm and finds he's got no sperm. So in short, we need to investigate them both together so that, because 50% of the time it's the man who has a problem and 50% it's at the problem of the woman. So I don't think there should be that pressure of that, especially infertility. I think WHO has very categorically said that infertility is a disease. It needs to be treated as such. It has both physical and mental issues along with it. So even if a woman is not physically sick, but mentally, she's so stressed that we definitely need a lot. We do refer our patients for counseling and for help, and we feel it's needed for these women. It's really needed. And I think I'm glad that Dr. Megha is here and giving her inputs onto it. It's very, very helpful.
I totally agree. And बड़े अच्छे से आपने इस चीज को narrate किया. So coming to Neha, आपको लगता है कि egg freezing will actually empower a lot of women in India, जहां पर बड़े सारे वैसे ही स्टिग्मास हैं करियर को लेकर, शादी को लेकर, कब होगा, कैसे होगा. So कहीं ना कहीं ये चीज बहुत ही अच्छी साबित होगी.
No, 100%. And I feel what Doc has said, and she's given her own example after being an expert and given her own example as to what's happening at home. And I feel like it starts from there. It's not only is it, a great story to tell and listen to, but it's also a really inspiring one. And I think that the minute you remove the stigma around it, there are going to be more and more people who are actually going to come out and talk about it. What about the people and the stigmas that exist when you can't get pregnant, if you're married and the pressures that you're living with, we need to question that. And those pressures come from the fact that there's such a large stigma attached to what the possible cure is. So why have a stigma around cure? And I genuinely feel that the more we normalize it, the more we talk about it, the more we vocalize it, the more we share our experiences, women who've gone through it, men who've experienced it, I see nothing wrong with a man coming out and telling a story that, hey, for the longest time, he thought that there was nothing wrong with him, but then there was. And then how, couples have addressed that. So the more we talk about it, the more we're giving other people solutions, hope, and most importantly, children and beautiful babies that they've always wanted to have. How can we take that away from them?
I agree. So first thing जो सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है to normalize this, to normalize the concept, तभी वो stigma कहीं ना कहीं हटेगा. So my last question to all of you, मैं एक एक करके start करूँगी. I'll start with Dr. Megha. So again, Women's Mother's Day है और कहीं ना कहीं अब हमने काफी अच्छी बात है कि I got to know many things about egg freezing as well. So बहुत सारी लड़कियां जो फिलहाल हमें देख रही हैं वो maybe in their 20s or early 30s or maybe mid 30s who will ultimately go through this journey or maybe opt for egg freezing और maybe वो 35 के बाद भी conceive करें या पहले करें, उनको आप क्या कहना चाहेंगी? Something that you would like to say to all the women watching out us right now.
I think it's, I just would want to summarize by saying that, of course, there will always be journeys where there will be challenges. We too tend to, of course, we would all of us want a happy ever after. And at times with that entire happily ever after, we are always on a schedule ki 12th के बाद ये करना है, college के बाद ये करना है, जब job मिल जाएगी तो ये करना है. We're being very, very, we're boxing our lives into spaces of ये करना है और उस timeline में अगर मेरा बच्चा नहीं हो तो मैं क्या करूंगी? I think somewhere we need to slow down. Number one, we have as a society stopped seeing ourselves as a priority. So self-love ये जो हमारी term, हमारी psychology में एक term है जिसका मजाक भी बहुत उड़ाया जाता है Instagram पे. Self-love is nothing but giving yourself priority, in my understanding. Thirdly, you got to be independent. I understand everywhere, all of women across may not all have that power and that freedom and that sort of life, but you got to be independent in your thought. Finances and physical independence can be taken care of, and it's your body. I think we judge it a lot. I'm fair, I'm not fair, I'm dark, I'm short, you're tall. I think judgment is everywhere, so we cannot expect a perfect world where nobody trolls. I think maximum times we troll ourselves. Anything that is which is negative starts from our own self. Hence, when someone says something about us, we tend to take it too personally. So a couple of things work. You've got to put yourself as a priority. Does not mean you are selfish. There is a happily ever after, but please do not box yourself in. मेरे इस timeline में यही होना चाहिए. You may want something, it may not always come through, and live life. You only get it once. So we'll only be 20 once in our life. We'll only be 40 once in life. And I think it's good. Life is not that bad. So don't hurt yourself and don't over and expect yourself कि मेरे इस timeline पे ये होना जरूरी है. ये all या तो ये होगा या तो ये नहीं होगा. I think we put ourselves through a lot of anxiety for nothing. So take it easy, one day at a time. You got it and you're doing well. Would be my advice.
Wow. Okay. And Neha, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगी?
मैं honestly, I genuinely feel that I'm nobody to advise anyone because, I haven't taken too much advice in my life. So I feel like it's, my advice karma is very low. And because I don't listen to very many people because I feel as long as I'm not hurting or harming anyone, my life is not similar to anyone else's and someone else's life is not similar to mine. Your story is different from mine, Neha, and Dr. Duru's is different and Dr. Megha's is different, and so for everybody listening. I genuinely feel that if you're in your 20s, 30s, again, I'd agree with Dr. Megha. If you think that, the calling of the hour is to go out there and work, and at this point, you don't want to be distracted personally, but you want to accelerate professionally, go ahead and do that. There are always options. Did I do that? Did I take up an option? Was I wise enough to think ahead? Not at all. I've always been somebody who lives in the moment and takes each day as it comes. And that's what I'm doing right now as we speak. Even this works. So if you think I'll work, then you can follow my pattern as well. And I just feel like people need to relax. We lead very high stress lives. We have this big chase and this run, and we don't know what we're running behind. What ends up happening is, I don't know medically, and medically is something that Dr. Megha and Dr. Duru and everybody else watching will explain better. But I feel somewhere we're hurting something inside us. So, you know, just lighten up, relax a little bit. Again, don't troll yourself, be kind to yourself. And, you know, even when you're trying to have a baby or working towards having a baby, maybe think ahead, maybe don't think ahead at all. Like, you know, the unplanned stories are honestly, according to me, the best one. But that's me. Having said that, am I judging? Is there a stigma in my head? No, not at all. Somebody tells me, hey, I had a baby, I have never asked this question, kaise hua, natural, C-sec, you know, one other option, did you freeze your eggs or whatever else? I'm just like, is the baby healthy? Are you healthy? Are you happy? Are you fine? These things don't even occur to me. So I'm just saying that just, and I at the same time would like to say that as a woman, if you think that, you know, the time is right to accelerate personally, go ahead and do that. If you think the time is right to accelerate professionally, do that. And if you think the time is right that, yes, now you're finally ready for the fine balance, go ahead and have a baby, because that balance is very important. And have I found it? No, I haven't. But am I enjoying this adventure? I am loving it. There is nothing better in my life right now than my two little ones. And even while I'm talking, like half my brain, in fact, 90% of it has got thoughts and flashes of them. So I may be here, but I'm just here 10%. But that's what having children does to you.
I agree. And Dr. Duru, aap bataiye.
The same question as
Yes.
to what?
Yeah.
Yes, I have two daughters myself. And actually, yes, I would I would give up everything, but at the same time, I still believe that yes, you have to continue what you want to do in life, and therefore, as a career, I have continued working. I had my first child, and in 15 days, I went back to work. I was doing a government job at that time. They wouldn't take me back. They said, no, you bring a fitness certificate, only then we let you work. 3 months I had to sit at home, wait for them to get me back, because I was going through a postgraduate training. So, you know, that those 3 months mattered a lot. But what I'm trying to say is that, yes, I believe that every woman should be working, should be financially independent. And as a matter of fact, that has been my motto throughout life, to everyone, even to my girls, right from the time they were children. I said, you're never going to ask money to anybody. You're going to buy your own saris. And they tease me so much today. Both are working very well. They say, Mom, we don't wear saris. What do we do now? They told us you don't need to buy your own saris, but we don't wear saris. So now what do we do? So question is that it became a sort of a fun thing for them to tell me. But yes, I think a woman must be financially independent. She should be empowered. Empowered means making her own decisions, making her own life go ahead the way she wants. Have a good family, give good time to your family, but at the same time, give time to what you also want to do. It's very important.
It's lovely hearing the three of you. Bahut acha laga. So thank you so very much. Starting from Neha, thank you so very much for sharing valuable insights. And thank you, Dr. Megha. Thank you, Dr. Duru. And sabhi mothers ko happy Mother's Day. So
yes, absolutely. I just want to tell everyone, firstly, Doc, it was really lovely speaking to you, Dr. Duru, Dr. Megha, and of course, Neha, you as well. Happy Mother's Day to everybody who's here on the panel, who's watching us. And most importantly, I just want everyone to know that you are the best version of a mother your child can have. So yeah, pat yourselves on your back, and you're all doing a great job. Just live it up.
Yeah. And happy Mother's Day to all of you. And Neha, a new mother, second time.
Second time.
Yes, and all of you, we wish you a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you very much.
thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.